With me now is Mohamad Elmasry, Chair of the Media and Journalism Program at the Doha Institute for Graduate Studies. Thank you so much, Mohamad, for being with us today on Al Jazeera. First of all, what do you make of the fact that we didn't see the violent, brutal crackdown by security forces that we're used to seeing on the streets of Egypt when such demonstrations happened?
You know, I don't know what to make of it just yet. There are, speculations abound. Some people are suggesting that this might be an indication that there are those within the security apparatus who are sympathetic to the protest movement, sympathetic to Muhammad Ali, the man that you've been talking about all morning. This is certainly a possibility. I'd like to let it play out a few days before I make any conclusions on that. The Mubarak-era security apparatus was sometimes they took a sort of a hands-off approach, and then other times they cracked down brutally. So I'd like to see it play out a few days. But there are those who feel that there is someone behind Muhammad Ali, someone in the power structure behind
within the military.
Correct. We know that there are fractures within the power apparatus in Egypt. Otherwise, Sisi would not have cracked down on Sami Anan and Ahmed Shafiq, these would-be presidential candidates, as hard as he did back in 2018. He wouldn't have done that if those people didn't have backing inside the power apparatus. So there is a fracture. We just don't know how significant it is. I think we're going to find out, though, in the coming days. So
how much momentum do you think there is right now for this to continue? The first demonstrations we've seen in a while in Egypt after the crackdown there's been on protesters, on journalists, on activists, and so on. How far can this go this time around, do you think?
Well, I think Sisi, who reportedly has arrived in New York, has to be quite worried about what he saw. There was a full night of protests. They were across several big governorates. A lot of people participated, and the people are just going to be emboldened by the fact that they were able to get away with it, that they went out into the streets, they weren't arrested en masse, they weren't shot at. So I think there's a significant chance that this could build up.
You know what I find interesting also, Mohamad, is the fact that, it's not the first time that we've heard about these allegations of corruption against Sisi and his regime. This has been going on for some time now. Why is it now that it's resonating more with Egyptian people, leading them to take to the streets to demonstrate against this?
Consider the larger context. For years, Sisi has been giving public addresses reminding Egyptians how poor they are. Ihna fuqara awi, he says. We are a very poor people. At the same time, he's implementing these massive subsidy cuts. People are having subsidy cuts, having to go through subsidy cuts to, things like wheat and flour and fuel and other essential goods. So, and in this context, Muhammad Ali comes along and says he's been spending tens of millions of US dollars on lavish presidential palaces and a private family home for him and his wife. So that's one reason why all of this is resonating. People are angered by all of this. It's important to note, Sisi had an opportunity to deny these allegations made by Muhammad Ali at last week's youth conference. He didn't do that. In fact, he did the opposite. He confirmed them. He said, yes, I've built these palaces, and I'm going to build even more palaces. And I think that angered people.
All right. Thank you so much, Mohamad Elmasry. It'll be interesting to see, of course, what happens in the next few days. Thank you for your insights.
Thanks.